Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Here I am, honored to welcome you to what promises to be another scintillating edition of Off the Cuff, or what we call as OTC, with another stellar guest. Now, which guest's name should I take?
Stories that have been coming about during the last few months, that from somewhere some Aadhaar number is leaked. That is not a leak from the UIDAI, and that is also not that is a data breach, because Aadhaar number is not a secret information. Aadhaar is the part of your identity, and then identity you have to share with everyone with whom you interact. So that can never be a secret information. So your Aadhaar number itself is not very critical or the secret information. So it is not a data breach. Now about the data breach within the UIDAI. We have maintained that during the last 7 years of our existence, there has not been a single case of a breach.
We were in the arms of Uncle Sam before, now we are going to fall into the arms of Auntie China. That's not the way the world should be. We should be thinking about ourselves as a nation. And among the things we need to do is to have good relations with our neighbors first. We have a problem with Afghanistan, we have a problem with India. So if you look at Pakistan's borders, that's almost 2/3 of our borders we have bad relations with.
Some problems with Iran as well.
And we have some problems with Iran as well, and some people would argue we have some problems with China too, which China does not publicly discuss but privately keeps admonishing Pakistan about.
In Kashmir
So wo, Daag Dehlvi has a famous sher कि सब हंसी हैं जाहिदों को नापसंद, अब कोई हूर आएगी इनके लिए. So you can't not have good relations with everybody around you, and then you have to reflect why is it. There can be two approaches. One can be everybody's against me, the paranoid approach. The other approach is my approach, which is reflect. What is it that we've done wrong that we've annoyed all of them?
I don't see Rahul Gandhi as a politician. I think he doesn't have urge to be there. I mean, he will not be there. I mean, maybe if you ask about somebody else in Congress party, I'll say differently. But my honest and very humble opinion about him, that he is not cut out to be a politician.
You came in the first interview which you gave to a TV channel in Amritsar was कि ये साडा बाजवा ये साडा जट भरा है ते जट भरा नू असी जप्फियां पाके मिलते हैं. Well, that man has gone and said a lot of obnoxious things about Punjab. How do you still feel that it was just an emotional response to the Kartarpur corridor?
It's not that. I mean, see, you've taken just a little dialogue in that entire thing, and things can be distorted. So I think, the fact of the matter is that it was just a reaction, a warm reaction. मैं 5000 बंदे ने जब भी पहुंचाए थे, तुझे कोई नहीं कहते, कोई मैनू आके कहे भी मैं बाबा नानक दा दर तुहाडे लई खोलन जा रहा. What will I do? Turn my back on him? I mean, a Jaffi is not a conspiracy. It's not a Rafael deal. It's not a Rafael deal.
I think we have made one mistake after another as far as our policy on Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. And I will not disclose the name of the person with whom I had a discussion in government on this. But I was told that there is a doctrine of state.
Doctrine of?
State. Machiavelli, Chanakya, Metternich, everybody has a doctrine of a state, so we have a doctrine of a state also. And that doctrine of a state is use force to quell any rebellion. So they're using force. And I'll tell you all the visits that I made to Jammu and to the valley. And I traveled around. We were not confined to one place. I told you how the Nepalese hate India. The hatred in the minds of the people of the valley is far stronger than that in Nepal. We have ruined our relationship with the people of Jammu and Kashmir, especially the Kashmir Valley. And I don't know how much time it is going to take for that to be repaired. And I'd also like to tell you, and I'm very proud of saying this, that the one person who is still respected in Jammu and Kashmir is Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And he followed the policy of insaniyat. not of force.
So this gentleman who told you about the doctrine of state, this gentleman is in the government or is in the party?
No, he is in the government. He is in the government, and he was kind enough to see me after my visit to Kashmir. And we had some discussion, and when he told me that, you know, every government must have a doctrine of a state, and this is our doctrine, then I said namaste, and after that I have not checked up.
So this is the Chanakya doctrine. Is that what he talked about?
No, no, no. This is the doctrine of this. This is the doctrine of a state, of a strong state, which believes in the use of force to solve problems, not consensus, not democracy, not insaniyat, but sheer use of brutal force to kill as many as you can. What happened in Pulwama recently? Do you think that all adds to the glory of the Indian state in the minds of the people of Kashmir?
So are we losing Jammu and Kashmir?
We have lost. There is no question of losing.
But it was also interesting that in the videos that they had on Patel, these beautiful videos that were put out, the historical pictures of Patel, there was no Nehru in them at all. So Nehru was completely airbrushed.
It's the inversion of what Stalin did after he took power. He removed Trotsky from every picture. I mean, it's famous in the Soviet Union because Trotsky was very close to Lenin. You know, Trotsky, Lenin, and then Stalin and Trotsky fell out. So, I mean, this is an old Stalinist tactic, you know. That you
so we are not asking you today who Stalin is. So we're not going to be able to read that.
But that's
it's an intellectual purge. You know, it reminds me of that S.T. Burman song, "Man ki kitab se tum mera naam hi mita dena, good to na tha koi bhi ab good mere bhula dena."
As you know, just recently at the UN, Cochin Airport won a very major international award for being the the airport that is completely solar based. So all their energy is coming in a very green way. And the award was given to Cochin International Airport. We also just had a flight, SpiceJet in fact flew it from Dehradun to Delhi, where they had biofuel there as well. And what we really need to do is to increase the supply of biofuel, because actually our modern day jet engines are capable of using a mixture of ATF and biofuel.
So I will speak about the things that I believe in. So I spoke about the the pay disparity or the way the treatment, etc. Or today we were talking about whatever we spoke about today, because I wanted to and I chose to spoke about it. But you can't tell me what to speak about. Yes, of course, changes happen, and because more people talk about it, I guess then other people have to get responsible, or they are kind of picked up, and they have to make some changes, or they have to be responsible.
What's the most tangible change that you have seen after you started speaking?
I think talking can just create awareness. Talking can not solve the issue completely. What has happened today, and I think that's something that I have always maintained, that I think our audience is way more evolved, way more progressive than even our film fraternity.
आपने राजनीति नाम की फिल्म तो कर ली, आपने ये भी बोल दिया कि आप नीतीश कुमार का किरदार निभाना चाहेंगे। राजनीति ज्वाइन करने का कोई इरादा है आपका?
कोई नहीं, I'll make a very bad politician.
Why do you say that?
Because I can be humble till a point. After that, I'm quite bashful. फिर मेरा बिहारीपना बाहर आ जाता है.
Politics में you need a great deal of hypocrisy.
It's a great deal. I mean, you are contradicting yourself. Like if you are appearing in 5 channels, one debate after another, if you're jumping from one channel to another. I actually have seen it, one spokesperson contradicting himself in every debate, on every channel.
And then what happens is, suddenly that spokesperson defects to another party. Gets Shazia Ilmi, until one day fighting for AAP, the next day fighting against AAP. Also is that lawyer who used to be with SP now, Gaurav Bhatia, is now with BJP, but the passion level is the same.
Yeah. I will make a pathetic politician.
My toughest interview till now has not been with a politician. And since I'm in Bombay, I can reveal this quite happily. It's been with someone from the world of music, A.R. Rahman. The interview with A.R. Rahman was done, I think, the day he got the Padma Shri. It was done for the BBC program Face to Face. And I assumed, utterly wrongly, that he would come in a mood of exhilaration and he'd be talkative and chatty and we'd have a great interview. What I didn't know, that at that point of time, and we're going back some 20 odd years, today he's probably a very different person, he was tongue-tied, nervous, inhibited, and the most uncommunicative person I've met. So I asked him my first question and his answer was, So I was a bit taken aback. I asked him my second question, his answer was, And this really had me floored. Then I asked him the third question and he said, So I said, listen, hang on a moment, what's the difference between And he looked at me and he says,
India should never be reservation free, because the exploitation maybe of scheduled caste, maybe of other communities in this country, it is not only recent happenings. Centuries we were being exploited by the upper strata of the society, and we deserve all kind of reservation.
So merit is not going to play a role?
Huh?
No merit, only reservation?
No, what do you mean by merit? Let me counter question. I was talking to one of my colleagues. She was minister in Manmohan Singh ji government, and I said that naam le do? No, not Chalya. मैंने कहा जयंती, मैंने कहा आपकी अंग्रेजी बहुत अच्छी है और मेरी अंग्रेजी टूटी फूटी है, मतलब चला लेता हूँ मैं काम को, ये नहीं कह सकता कि हरियाणा का इसको बोलनी नहीं आती होगी, बोलता हूँ। तो मेरे को पूछती है कि आपके फादर पढ़े लिखे थे? मैंने कहा हाँ। आपके दादा? मैंने कहा दादा थोड़े पढ़े लिखे थे। एंड दादा से उनके दादा, आपके फादर के दादा, मैंने कहा वो अनपढ़ थे। कहती है मैं आई एम literate in my 23rd generation. This is the difference, and that is why we want reservation.
Today is a political movement for uprising of any kind possible. Or you think people have become too smug now? जैसे मैंने कहा कि वो ट्वीट करके भड़ास निकल गए, तो मेरा काम हो गया।
आपको कोई मूवमेंट नजर आती है कि नहीं?
बिल्कुल नहीं आती।
नहीं, ये तो सही नहीं।
अभी तो नहीं आ रही।
ऐसा लगता है,
तो बताएं।
ऐसा लगता है कहीं ना कहीं वो तहरीक पल तो रही है और पाती रही। अगर लोगों में बेचैनी है कि नहीं है? बेचैनी है तो वो तहरीक है, वही तहरीक है या वही मूवमेंट है जिसे तेज होने के बाद, जब तेज हो जाएगी तो कोई वर्का पड़ देगी, ये इतिहास का कोई सबब नहीं। लेकिन ये तहरीक शुरू वहीं से होती है जब बेचैनी अंदर, जब भाप भरने लगती है तो तभी ढक्कन खड़खड़ाता है, वो भाप निकलेगी बाहर।
The first time that a prime minister has put sanitation, subject like sanitation, which typically no one takes very seriously, toilets, etc., center stage. Now, for the prime minister to do that is pretty big. So that's the first difference. The second is that this program is focusing basically on behavior change. It's not so much about building of toilets, it's about the usage of toilets. There is a sanitation revolution going on in rural India today. And we think this is the biggest behavior change program in the world. So it's a huge task, but it's a big idea. And in some ways, in management jargon, they use the term called bhag. It sounds like run in Hindi. But actually it's a big, hairy, audacious goal. And we like to compare it with when President Kennedy said in 1961, we're going to put a man on the moon. Everyone said, wow, that's a big idea. I think when this Prime Minister said we're going to change the behavior of 1.25 billion Indians, it's a much bigger idea.
I'm a very, very liberal-minded person. I honestly think Article 377 should be scrapped like yesterday.
I think nepotism exists everywhere. It's only more obvious, conspicuous in our industry. So I see a lot of doctors' kids becoming doctors, or engineers' kids becoming engineers, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, your top industrialists, where do their kids go? They go straight to the judges' kids becoming lawyers and then judges.
Does that also happen there?
Yeah, quite a bit. Well, so it exists everywhere. So I feel, I mean, personally, I don't have a problem with nepotism in our industry. To answer the second part of your question, is it tough proving yourself again and again and staying in there? Yes, it is very tough. It is very tough, and that's where you have an unfair disadvantage, you know, because you have to keep proving yourself all the time. But does that make you bitter that someone else has it? It doesn't, because some of my closest friends in the industries are sons of and daughters of film actors. So I think it's about just complimenting each other, living graciously with each other. And I think that's what sport teaches you really well, because I love sport. And sport teaches you to accept defeat or take loss very graciously. So if you can do that, put your head down, you become very competitive. You know how to come back and you know how to fight back. So it's okay, nepotism exists everywhere. I don't have a problem with it.
I'm not in any way, I'm obviously cognizant, but I'm not an expert on anything to do with the Me Too movement. It's a very interesting thing, this thing that has happened fairly recently about the harassment of people, and more than harassment of people. And it isn't restricted to the harassment of women, indeed, as we know through Spacey and people like that. But my own sense is that in India, the question is twofold. It's mainly the position of women, and it's the position of people of different orientations. These are the main problems within in our country, right, where a lot of dialogue has happened one way or the other. So with regard to that, I think quite a lot has happened in the last few years.
These are areas where even families found it difficult to talk, both in terms of orientation and in terms of what somebody in the family was going through in the workplace, in school, in college.
Indians, I wouldn't say always, right, but within the last 150 years, have found it very difficult to talk about any kind of sexual matter.
Just describe the sequence. How did you come to know about this case, and how did you get sort of more involved in it, more drawn to it?
Okay, like it was in January 2018 this year only. I came to know about this case like जैसे सब लोगों को पता चला, मुझे भी पता चला through my Facebook account, because काफ़ी लोग update कर रहे थे इस बच्ची के बारे में. Then I thought, I was busy in some other case that time, a very important case I was doing against a judicial officer that time. So I thought I'll definitely see this case also, because I felt we need to be there. See, I may sound bit, you know, out of way kind of a thing, ki why would a lawyer go and approach the, you know, litigant, you come and give me this case. But in this case, I have, if you'll ask me that question, but in this case, yes, I tried, I initiated. Reason behind was because I thought this child would never get justice. This 8-year-old child who's brutally murdered and raped would never get justice if we would not be there. And that was the initiative that made me to approach her, you know, parents.